It's Sunday morning. You know what that means. Time for some final takes here for week 4. And there's going to be a game going on in a half an hour. I don't care about that one. We're not going to talk about that at all. Sorry to myself, though, for Jalen Warren being out in best ball. That said, we're going to focus on the main slate today. Really crazy ownership projections out there. Guys like Christian McCaffrey, hence my skeptical face in the thumbnail. We're doing what we always do here, compare projections and ownership. We're going to run some optimized lineups on ETR as a solver. We'll sim some lineups with our friends at Stochastic. And by the end of this video, you'll have all my final takes for week 4. You'll know also some of the best sim lineups out there. So let us get into it here. Shout out to all you guys watching live right after the fact. First, like, brother, appreciate that. Just made the kids blue waffles. Oh, that's not good. Don't Google that image. But shout out to all you guys here. Hope you're having a good weekend. I was actually just thinking when I was starting the stream up, it's like I really exhausted. I just feel like I never really caught up on sleep from Alex being in LA for a few days, and she hasn't caught up on sleep either because Luke is waking up at fucking 6 o'clock on the dot, if not a little bit before that lately, like a real piece of shit. He didn't used to be a piece of shit. He's currently a piece of shit. That said, like I put my money hat on and it's like, all right, cool. Like, I'm ready to do work. And it's so fucking stupid. Like this is a Amazon hat. It's probably giving me cancer right now. But nonetheless, it allows me to strap in and do the work. It has become a psychological thing, I've realized. And for you guys out there, whatever your process is, I hope you have your money hat equivalent at home. Is this live? I'm barely awake. It is in fact live. I'm live and in effect here. Even though I would probably do a lot better if I did pre-recorded videos, but no, I demand the attention of a live chat. Let's get going with the projections, though. Christian McCaffrey, his has gone up. Your chalk play of the week, it seems, at least based on the projection data out there. Stochastic now has McCaffrey at 25.3. You do have Juwan Jennings playing, which is a bit of a surprise to me, but he got into practice on Friday. Apparently, he'll be limited. It was in quotes, was the report that I saw. He'll be limited, so whatever that means, who knows. I do think having a Juwan Jennings in the mix does make you a little bit concerned for McCaffrey more than it would be if it's just Pierce all out there. Guy's not a fantastic target earner, even though he does have a certainly massive fantasy upside week to week. For McCaffrey, though, 8,500. The workload's been massive for him, like we talked about on Friday's video. He's averaging, that's Luke McCaffrey. We don't care about him. Christian McCaffrey averaging 28 and 10 to touches, 6.3 inside the red zone, 3 of which inside the 10-yard line. Situation for McCaffrey is good. Competitive game as well. This one being about a 3.5 point total favoring the Niners against Jacksonville, a team that we respect to some degree based on what they've shown so far. And they have a higher ceiling too than they've shown too, so that could definitely make it a very easily a competitive game. I really don't have an issue with McCaffrey. The issue I have is that there are other guys you could pay for around that range. You could go down and pay down for Bijan Robinson. You could go down a little bit further, go to Saquon Barkley, maybe even a Bucky Irving hits. I don't know. Jonathan Taylor's at 7,500, and he seems a little bit underplayed by comparison. So I have no real issue with McCaffrey. The workload is there. The opportunity is there. He's not been as efficient as he was when he was like super great, but still good enough. Still missing tackles at a 10% rate. It's not special, but he's a bell cow. That's fine. He's a good play. I just don't know that I want to go nuts on him. And I think he's going to be treated like a lock button play. And you might win all the money today. And I'm not saying this is like a guaranteed way. Follow these 5 simple rules and you're going to win $100,000, $1 million today. But I think there's a good shot that like McCaffrey doesn't make the winning lineup. Something around that price range at RB does. Maybe even paying down at RB where you take Hampton and a Scadaboo and something else, a Nick Chubb. I don't know. That game should be really much a Nick Chubb game with Houston and Tennessee's total being so incredibly low, under 40 points for the week. Got ugly, but good for a running back like Nick Chubb. I think there's other ways you could win that aren't Christian McCaffrey, so worth the ownership. First cash game guy in, but, you know, it's a little bit too much. Jennings playing for that contract. Yeah, I mean, I agree. And yeah, games played, I think, was part of it as well. GM needs Spags to guide the way. I hope so. Top value plays, I'll sort by value in a moment here. We're going by top projected at first. Josh Allen at number 2, 24.4 fantasy points. Moved up a little bit in Stochastic's numbers here. I'll see how that affects the ownership in the sim and see if ETR is also bumping up Josh Allen a little. The big thing for Buffalo, again, like we talked about on Friday, so sorry to rehash stuff, but different viewers for different shows. 31.5 implied for Buffalo, one of the highest totals we've had in the NFL the last couple of years. So you're expecting a real beatdown here. It's 2 teams as well that play with incredible pace. Both teams playing at a very nice 69 plays per game. So really you're expecting it to be a high-paced game if Buffalo's defense shuts down New Orleans, which you would kind of expect, though I am going to play some Rattler stacks, again, like I talked about on Friday. 16.5 implied points for New Orleans. If New Orleans drives stall out, that means you're going to get Buffalo on the field more, and doesn't necessarily mean Josh Allen's going to throw for 5 touchdowns or whatever, but he could run for 1, 2. He could pass for 1, 2. He could put up 40. Like, he could do that pretty easily. I think the question I have for Josh Allen is, like, New Orleans special teams have been pretty bad. Is it a situation where maybe we see the defense get some touchdowns, special teams get some touchdowns, and that mutes the offensive attack a little? That's a thought. But really, with the fact that Josh Allen projects so well, his stack partners are going to barely be played. Dalton Kincaid looks like he'll be the highest projected ownership guy at 3.5. Everybody else under 3%, including Khalil Shakir, who I think is due for a bounce back in this kind of spot. Keon Coleman, Josh Palmer, like, they're all cheap. James Cook going to be owned a good amount. Stochastic has him for 22% ownership. The point being for Josh Allen, like, the stack is underowned. I think there's a chance you get some push-pull dynamics. If New Orleans plays up to the accuracy Rattler's shown, he's not been as bad as I think the results have been, though the team total certainly doesn't make you have a lot of hope here. But I think there's ways Josh Allen's really important on the slate. So I'm going to get more than the field of Josh Allen. He'll be one of the QBs. I also, limit down when I'm doing some ETR lineups where I'm just kind of choosing 5 or 6 QBs. He's a key play today, I think, potentially, because his upside is so much higher than a lot of other guys, obviously. Cook's under 20. He's not, he's not expected to be over 20, but at about 20 at 22%. Should we let DSC variance guide our thinking? I mean, I think Buffalo is a defense I'd like to play some of this week and go out of my way to do it. Kind of the same thing we saw last week with Jordan Mason. People didn't play the defense with him as much as they probably should based on that natural correlation. So, same thing honestly, for Niners D. You should probably play some more McCaffrey with it, because that's one way to get unique on top while still taking the chalk. But besides that, I got to run the Sims again because defense is never really a priority thing for me. Obviously, besides anybody going against Joe Flacco, that's also one that would be in play again. Detroit, we talked about on Friday, a good amount. Lamar Jackson, 22.4 fantasy points here. Should be a competitive game with Baltimore and KC. I don't think that line has moved too much, if at all. 2.5-point favorites are Baltimore on the road going into KC. So Lamar certainly playing well enough here. As I've talked about, he's playing a little bit too loose, getting pressure on 45% of dropbacks, sacked on 10% of dropbacks. It's not where you want Lamar to be. The bad side of playground ball, but he's still making enough big plays that it kind of comes out in the wash in terms of results and efficiency stats. Lamar, I think an upside play as well. He and Josh Allen. See what the ownership is, because it does feel like these guys, I don't know. I think there's a better case to make for them that people will maybe realize when they're actually making lineups. But we'll see what the ownership is. Bijan Robinson at number 5 here, 21.7 fantasy points. Again, I think he gets pretty underowned by comparison to Christian McCaffrey, who does project about 3.5 fantasy points higher. Bijan Robinson has not been good to start the year overall. I mean, in terms of Atlanta, really has not been good. Bijan's been good. Sorry. Bad way to say that. Atlanta's offense, though, has had some problems. Michael Penix has said the right things, I think, relatively. The team has said the right things about not viewing it as a situation where they want to bench him. Obviously, the fact they have to even take that question at all is not a great thing. But Penix's accuracy has not been awesome, 76%. Maybe part of the way you get his accuracy going a little bit is checkdowns to Bijan, who can really take any play and make it something meaningful in terms of at least a first down, if not a big play. I think Bijan's a really interesting pivot to McCaffrey this week. Competitive game it should be versus Washington. Washington's defense has not been too good versus the run, 0.1 EPA per rush, limiting RB targets, but that might not matter for Bijan. I think he's a strong play. So that's really, he's number 5 projected. I think he's not going to come up as much as he should compared to, really not a massive projection difference. It's big, but it's not insurmountable for Bijan versus McCaffrey. I think he's one of those guys where if you were to flat fade McCaffrey, playing Bijan, again, playing Taylor, playing James Cook, people will do anyway, playing Bucky, just playing that 8,200 to 7K range more, I think is a decent move. Let's sort by value here. So we got our top 5. Jackson Dart, your number 1 value, 17.4. Stochastic bumped up the projection a little bit here. Total for the Giants has not moved in their favor. I think the total did move 1 point in favor of the Chargers. The Chargers 25 implied, Giants 18.5 implied. It's a really neat stack potentially with Jackson Dart where you could go the single with Neighbors. I think you can maybe do the double with Wandale if Jackson Dart were to really hit in this first game. And I don't think that's likely. I talked about it on Friday. Love Jackson Dart long-term. Thought he was kind of looks similar to me as a Bo Nix, not in terms of how they play, but in terms of how good they were in college, how undervalued they were coming into the NFL draft process. I didn't make my stand in best ball, so I would like to be in on Jackson Dart a little bit. Was thinking about it yesterday. I want to be in him on a little bit in week 1. So Jackson Dart, I think doing the double stacks, doing the onslaughts, doing the bringbacks with I mean, with Ladd, if you want, Keenan Allen, I think in a competitive game would also play. O'Marion Hampton don't usually want to play two RBs from the same game, but I think you might be able to get away with it with the workload that Hampton and Scadaboo seem like they can have. I think there's a lot of ways to play Jackson Dart this week is the main point here at 4,500. So a little more open to it. Do think that there's some risk for sure because Jackson Dart is a guy that can, really be sloppy sometimes. He's a gunslinger. Like he is a gunslinger. He runs. He's a gunslinger. He's got a lot of stuff that we like, but also things that when they run bad, they can hurt you. So don't go nuts on Jackson Dart. Don't go playing him in every lineup. I wouldn't even play him like 20, 25%. That's a lot for any QB. But I think playing some of him is probably a decent move because he and Rattler, I think low totals this week, but guys, I do want to take shots on because I think they'll drop back a decent amount. And for Dart, like the rushing upside, I'm curious to see what it is. He was really efficient at Ole Miss, didn't run a ton, but ran enough. And actually real fast. I think I have the data up. This is 2025. Yeah, this is 2024. Damn it. I thought I had the QB college data for Jackson Dart, but I believe he ran like 5 times a game in college. So not a decent, not a crazy bad amount or anything, but not a huge one. I'm pulling it up here because I got to know. No, you know what? Jackson Dart ran 7.4 times in college. I'll share the screen. My old rookie prep sheets here. 6.9 yards per rush, 21% avoided tackle rate, decent EPA. So Jackson Dart, look, Jackson Dart's got a lot of different ways to hit his upside here. Or at the very least, payoff, I think, is a cash game QB. So for Jackson Dart, he's in play for the week. But I think, in cash games, I think he would be my guy in a cash game. He'll probably be my guy in the cash game I play with my friends every week. Drake May, hope they don't watch. Drake May at number 2, 19.4 fantasy points, 5,500. Drake May here, the stack with Hunter Henry probably gets a little bit overowned because of the fact it did hit last week. That said, for Drake May, I can't really critique it at this point. He gets a lot of dropbacks per game. He's getting himself 43 and change dropbacks per game, plus EPA per pass to his credit, 0.18 EPA per pass. Could be better, could be worse. Under pressure, he still sucks, negative 1.1 EPA. That's where Carolina's probably not going to hurt him very much. They're only getting pressure about 7% of the time, which is towards the lower half of the league. They're only hurting the QB 1% of the time. So this actually should be a decent Drake May spot. Again, I'm not a Drake May believer. I do think he is like valid on slates lately. I still think the floor is going to hit at some point when he plays a real defense. And Carolina did look like a real defense last week. For 1 week, how much does that matter? Did actually really boost all their EPAs in a positive way. Carolina's run defense sucks, but I don't think you trust Travion Henderson. Personally, I won't. I don't think you trust Ramondre either, even though I don't think he gets disciplined as much as people would like to see for the fumble problems. Drake May to Hunter Henry is really your only obvious stack here, unless you want to squint your eyes, go to Diggs, who gets 5 targets a game. Butte gets the long targets, but only 4 a game. If I were going to play May, I'd probably consider Butte a little bit more, whether it's with Henry or on top of Henry. Geno Smith at number 3, 18.9 projection, 3.5x value for him. Geno in a game here against Chicago secondary, which is a team that we want to attack very often. His efficiency has been decent, 0.05 EPA per pass, 0.09 EPA per dropback, taking 5 deep shots a game. Trey Tucker got a lot of work last week. Obviously, he got the 3 touchdowns, is a big part of him winning a guy, the Millie Maker. I think you can play Trey Tucker this week, but I think also going Jacoby Myers, going Brock Bowers in particular, whose ownership has come up a little bit, but still only 12%. I think there's worthwhile Geno stacks that don't include Trey Tucker, that do include Trey Tucker. Just attacking the Chicago defense is going to be something we want to do all year, I think. So to me, Geno Smith, very much in play. Caleb Williams, same thing on the flip side here. Las Vegas defense technically has actually been worse in EPA stuff than Chicago has. Vegas giving up 0.25 EPA per dropback, Chicago 0.16. Both are bad. Both aren't even Cowboys bad for what it's worth. But both are really bad. So it's really a shot here where it should be a shootout. Should be a situation where both QBs can get going. I like playing both. I'm sure I'll get exposure to both. But really the top 4 values this week, all guys I want to take shots on. In previous weeks, wasn't quite as sold on, Mariota. Didn't think him unstacked was going to pay off. I think that was mostly right. I think this week there's a lot of guys, frankly, I want to spread my exposure to. Am I on Mahomes? I'm not. I feel like, Mike, you asked me about Mahomes on Friday, too. Somebody did. I'm not crazy about Mahomes. I just don't like the stacking partners, and I'm not a Mahomes guy, really, in general. Projection's pretty high, though. 20.5 fantasy points, 6K salary. He's a top 5 value. If you want to take your shot at Mahomes, this is probably the week to do it, but that's that. In terms of other values, same thing as usual here. None of the values up top are anything besides QB. Lions defense is a 10.95 projection from Stochastic. That is technically a top value. Besides that, you get down to a Marion Hampton, Christian McCaffrey, Jacoby Myers, Puka Nacua. So really no actual values in the traditional sense of like a 3K guy who projects incredibly well. Not even a Jordan Mason, Kenneth Walker situation. It's kind of just a lot of guys who are priced a little bit soft for what the projection is. All right, we're going to ownership next. People want to be early on Henderson. We'll see what happens. I agree. I think that's the issue. Is like they want to be really early on Henderson, and I don't think Henderson has shown enough. Like he's so fast. He didn't miss tackles at Ohio State. He's missing even less tackles than the pros, which is what you'd expect. He's been good in the pass game, which is what I thought would be the case for him. So I'm not surprised by that. But even that, he's not earning as much of a role as he should, and he's not playing. I know people don't want to hear this. He's not really playing better than Ramondre right now. So I'm not crazy about going to Henderson either, but at a certain point, he'll hit. I don't think it's today. Still biased against Daniel Jones because the Rams push him to have a good game. He's been having every good game. Every game's been a good game for him. So, you mean the Rams, could they push him to not have a good game? Maybe, but that one is one of the games like I talked about on Friday. There's a few games this week that have a kind of a playoff, should be competitive, should be two teams that I think are fairly sharp going against each other. Colts Rams, based on at least what these teams have shown through 3 weeks, feels like one of those games where Daniel Jones has been, he's been elite to start the year relative to the numbers. Pressure, I think, can still cause a problem for him, but we'll see. Ownership, Christian McCaffrey, 41% expected ownership. So again, he's a great play. Is he a 41% great play? I'm not quite as sold at that. We'll see what the Sims think, though, because they'll either give us more or they'll give us less, and that's a good way to tell how we should at least think about it. Puka Nacua, 40% ownership here. Michael Pitt, I don't think Michael Pittman has a dream matchup. Look, he's had a decent, 1 or 2 decent games this year? I don't know. So I don't want to shit on Michael Pittman entirely, but I don't know that he has dream matchups when you have a lot of guys do the same thing. I guess taking Pierce off the field maybe helps him out a little bit, but I don't know why it's a dream matchup for him. Puka Nacua, 40% ownership for him. So he and McCaffrey are 2 chalk plays here. There's a lot of money for people for the field to be spending on 2 guys. So you got to think they'll be pushing more towards value. I think at tight end in particular, that's where Brock Bowers' ceiling is kind of compelling to me. You get leverage against anybody chasing on Trey Tucker. You also get off the price tier of probably paying down a tight end. I'm still happy to pay down a tight end. But it's people are going to have to get some value because these are 2 expensive guys. They're 2 highest owned at about 40%. Jacoby Myers, probably part of that value, 25% ownership. Again, the first 3 guys in a cash game lineup this week, McCaffrey, Puka, and Jacoby Myers should probably be the case. That said, if these are your first 3 guys in a tournament lineup, you got to start to think, what's the unique stuff I'm putting around this? How am I, what am I doing that everybody else isn't doing? And really keep in mind the trope that I've been beating into my own head as well as you guys here on stream to start the year. Whatever you think is not special, it's not unique. There's a million other people thinking the exact same thing. Even if you're like me and you have like a sense of game theory and you've done this kind of content for years and you've had some success doing it and like you learned football, I still am thinking the exact same fucking thing as a guy on the toilet right now making this lineup with a beer shits. That's unfortunately how the game goes. So for you guys out there, just keep that in mind that like these plays here, McCaffrey, Puka, Jacoby Myers, you play Geno with that, you're not getting too unique. You play Stafford with that, you're probably not getting too unique. You play Daniel Jones with that, maybe getting closer, but these are all the first wave of thoughts anybody's going to have. James Cook, 23% ownership here. Okay, you know what, Nathan? Are you a paying member? No? Okay, I'm putting the sticker back. Nathan did not have to be rude. And also, Nathan, run a lap. There we go. I moved the sticker because I caught that it's blocking it, but like, pay for the fucking thing. Use promo code SPLASH at Stochastic, Nathan. Fuck, don't give me that fucking attitude. Like I'm supposed to give a shit about you. Get out of here. You got to earn me giving a shit. I'll remove the sticker now, but I want to be clear. You don't talk to me like that. Get out of fucking town. James, I'm doing something for free here that you don't normally have access to. Please fucking go use promo code SPLASH. You want to see the ownership. James Cook, 23% ownership for him. $7,100 salary. He'll be decently owned. Very high total for Buffalo. He's been good in every game this year. Again, very obvious here that for James Cook, like he's going to be a play people want to get to. Can they afford to get to him, Puka, and Christian McCaffrey? Getting kind of tough, but this top 4 might be a common look in lineups. I would think ones that don't include James Cook or McCaffrey, you're probably getting to a Marion Hampton, 5,900. Positive game script, high total favoring the Chargers here. I think that for Omarion Hampton at 21% ownership, I don't really have an issue with it, but I do think there's ways the pass game gets there instead. Really, all parts of the Chargers to me on Friday, still now based on the ownership, it all seems more than appropriately owned. So I'm kind of more inclined to move away from it a little bit more. But Hampton definitely represents some savings. He and Jacoby Myers are both like two really good plays. They're just two really good plays that are incredibly obvious. I appreciate you guys supporting me. It's just like, you don't have to be rude about it. Like Robert Griffith III has pointed out the sticker thing before, and I get it blocks the ownership, but also like this guy's never been in my chat before. You can't talk to me like that when you've never been in my chat. Come on. Lower owned plays here. Oh, this guy's gonna be like, scroll slower so I could look at it. Fuck off. It's from a code Splash. But I appreciate you guys. Appreciate your support of me as I have to be mean to people. Guys under 10%, though, that seem kind of interesting. Keenan Allen, slightly under 10%. Not sure about that. Hunter Henry, slightly under 10%. I'm honestly not sure about that either. I think a lot of people are going to key in on the fact that he's like the only guy getting targets for New England. He has spiked a couple times this year. If I had to guess, Hunter Henry might be the chalk tight end of the week. This would be my one thing where I think I feel differently than the ownership meaningfully. I think people are going to chase Hunter Henry a lot more. Buck Irving, 6,900. He's under 10%. Saquon, he hasn't broken the big plays yet, but the underlying numbers don't look that far off. It's kind of the year I thought he would have last year. He's having it this year, but he still can have a great game at any time. And maybe get some more PPR points, because I know people are always afraid of Vita Vea. But maybe he's going to really fuck things up. He'll get more PPR points. Nico Collins under 10% after his big game last week. If Tennessee somehow stays competitive, maybe the pass game gets going. Nico and Christian Kirk both getting about 8 targets a game. We got Trey Tucker under 10%. I think that might get a little more chasey than people think. Looks like Stochastic actually bumped down the ownership on the Chargers. Quentin Johnson at 8, Herbert at 8. It's a little more of a reasonable freight to get to if you are going to try to fade Omarion Hampton. DeAndre Swift has had a good workload. He really hasn't paid off yet. Today could be the day, though Vegas' secondary a little bit softer than the run defense. Xavier Worthy, if you like Mahomes, him being 7% should be interesting. Jackson Dart at 7% ownership feels more than fair. Lamar at 5. Mariota at 4. Him and a Debo Ertz stack, I think, still kind of compelling in a competitive game. Jerry Jeudy, I'll say, there's a thing that Utical talked about on Pete's show. Bully the Sims. Not one of my favorite Pete titles. No disrespect to Pete, of course, our friend Pete Overs that we love. He's doing such great work still. And I watch most of his stuff that is germane to the things that I want to see. Utical, though, was talking about man defense stuff. And the Cleveland in a situation, like, obviously not a good spot with only 17 implied points. But Detroit does play a lot of man defense. Jeudy gets targeted 7 times a game and gets targeted for 14 air yards per target. And Utical was talking about he likes to target sometimes man defense matchups, which kind of surprised me to hear him talk about that. But he said basically if you're playing man defense, you have the higher likelihood of there being, more breakaway plays. You're not getting a PPR scam situation as much as you might, in a zone defense where like a guy like Keenan Allen really feasts against zone. A guy like Jerry Jeudy can maybe do well enough versus man. He gets targeted 26% of the time versus man as it is. Hasn't gotten great results so far. But the fact that Detroit plays man so much, maybe Jeudy gets going today. It was one thought I had when Utical said that. That's about it. A.D. Mitchell, by the way, 3% expected ownership. I don't know if I buy that. People have really been talking him up as a value. He's been targeted a ton when he's been out there this year. 44% of the time he's running a route, he's getting targeted. The issue, he's been really bad when getting targeted as well. But I think there's a chance he gets that Alec Pierce workload. Alec Pierce wasn't even paying off the Alec Pierce workload, though. So don't go nuts on A.D. Mitchell, but I do think he is your obvious super cheap value play. Does Kmet see a target bump without Loveland? I mean, slightly. He'll see more routes, I guess, or more snaps. But Kmet's only getting 2.3 targets a game. Loveland's getting 2. And Kmet's also getting more red zone targets than Loveland, who's got none. So, you're not really losing a lot of a role there. Do you Scataboo? What? Do you Scataboo? Do I Scataboo? Beep, bop, bop, bop. Scataboo at 11%. We'll see what ETR has. I think it's possible he comes in 15, 20. 11 seems a little bit light. Okay. Going down here. Anybody else? Michael Penix, 2%. Rashid Shaheed, 2%. People are going to go to Olave and Juwan Johnson a lot more, especially in Bill stacks. Playing some Shaheed, I think, is a decent move. That's it. And Chris Rodriguez down here. Not a guy I really want to play, but the fact he's 1% owned and he might be currently a little more equipped than Krosky Merritt to do what they want this running back situation to do. 4,200. Sure. All right. Let's go to the solver next, see what ETR has for us. Dog, please just go on your bed. What are you doing? Stop wandering around. Imagine being named Nathan the man. I love Nathan's hot dogs, so I'll give him that. But it's just, again, it was just really it was the attitude, like it's fair to ask, fair to even demand. Not that. Shout out to Mike. Appreciate that. This is for the 40 DK incoming for Pittman Advance. All right. I hope Pittman hits for you. Look, he's played well this year. He was one of those guys, and it might be a little bit of me having my priors. I just wasn't that big on him before. That said, he's playing well to start the year. So let's run the cash game lineups, but I'll look at Pittman's underlying numbers now, just out of curiosity. Oh, I got to fucking change 2 things with this bullshit again. All right. Hold on. All right. Instead of 2503, we'll make it 250299. There we go. And instead of 20.47, we'll go 20.469. Ah, hey, 20.469. That's fun. All right, we've made our 2 changes. Now we'll run a cash game lineup here. Thank you, Jake. I appreciate that. Love you right back. Smash that like button. Yes, please do. And guys, join the channel as well. If you want access to my data sheet, all the stats I quote here, it is in the Discord right now and on the YouTube community tab. So $5, join the channel. You get access to the Discord and that every week, along with a premium video I do going through all my data. So please show some love if you can. Your cash game lineup right now, according to ETR data, Drake May. So Drake May, not Jackson Dart with ETR data. Marion Hampton, Christian McCaffrey, Chris Olave, double Chris's. Is it my day? Puka Nacua, Devontae Adams, the Rams double makes it in. Kitty, no, go chew your bone. Brenton Strange, Jacoby Myers, Titans D makes it. Okay. That is your top lineup here. So a Rams double coming in naturally. You get no Cold Spring back here. It was Jonathan Taylor on Friday, but not the case anymore. Yeah. All right. ETR. That's your cash game lineup. Marcus Mariota, the number 2 lineup, Jackson Dart in number 3. Overall, in the top 25, we've got McCaffrey in every lineup, Jacoby Myers in every lineup, Chris Olave in every lineup, Puka Nacua in every lineup. So these 4 ETR users, if you are an ETR user, strap in. You're going to get fed somehow a lot of these guys, McCaffrey, Myers, Olave, Puka. They all are great plays in the week, but when these guys come up naturally in every single optimal lineup, it does mean that sometimes that they end up significantly overowned because people just can't imagine building their lineups without him. So that's 4 guys. We don't really see 4 guys who are in 100% of lineups ever. Yeah, that's crazy. Player stacks, about half these lineups have Jacoby Myers and Trey Tucker. Game stacks, about a third of these lineups have Christian McCaffrey and Brenton Strange. Team stacks, 60% of these have at least 2 Raiders. Have at least 2 Raiders, and a few have at least 3 Raiders. And I guess you're not getting Rams doubles in all of them, so that's not bad. Solver Sims, left side and Z, they do. I feel like that's been the case for like multiple weeks as well. I clicked the video to ask about a Judy Laporta low-owned mini, and you were talking about Judy. It's signed. All right, there you go. Look, Ken Uticow said it. So now we're playing telephone where Uticow said something, and I'm going, here's what Uticow said. And here's me trying to interpret it. But Judy's one of those guys where he has been awful on the year, but you're getting now a man defense matchup. So maybe that helps. All right, I think our boosts are in. Let me make sure imported correctly because it looked weird. All right, here we go. So we don't force stacks. We're just boosting everything. Actually, let me boost it a little bit more because I still haven't saved it for trying to get more game stacks. We'll boost our RB on the same team by 17.5%, and we'll boost the opponent by 17.5 as well. And let's put on variance. So we'll build 250 lineups here and sim it out, see what ETR thinks. But guys, if you get any value out of this video, please do show some love. Hit the like button, subscribe. Goes a long way for me here. Just one guy showing you my gambling across all the slates that I play. Monday, showdown slate. Thursday, showdown slate. Friday, the main slate video. Sunday, the final takes video. So please subscribe here. That same content goes on here. Of course, best ball too. But at this point, we're in DFS season, so who knows? Who knows what best ball holds? I am going to do a best ball recap at some point. I did want to do monthly, so that's coming up. Maybe not this week. I don't know. Maybe this week. Next week, though, no final takes video because it's going to be my brother-in-law's wedding. My wife's brother getting married. So I'll be on live before lock. I'll be back in time for that. But unfortunately, not going to be able to do final takes. And then the following week, I won't be able to do must plays on Friday. But I'll figure that one out because we got to go to a kid party, overnight kid party, kids celebration. You want me? Fuck off, Mike. You did give me money, so fine. I don't care about Pittman that much, to be honest. Like, I'm not going to go out of my way to play him. His projection is 12.6. He's getting targeted 23.5% of the time he's running a route. It's fine. He's getting 6.3 targets a game. He's been way more efficient than I think is possible for him to continue to be. 0.8 EPA per target is like it's not Michael Pittman. 0.7 red zone target. He's a guy. He's like 100% a human being. A human being playing football is what I'd say for how I assess Michael Pittman. But he's played really hot to start the year. I would just say, like, when the EPA is that high, like Tyreek Hill, when he was going nuts for the Dolphins, he was averaging 0.55 EPA per target. A couple of years ago when he was like good. On an average here, Justin Jefferson is around like 0.35, 0.4. Jamar Chase, same thing. You're due for negative regression for Pittman would be my assessment, but maybe it's not today. I think losing Pierce doesn't hurt him for sure. We'll run these in the mini max because, again, I feel like the slant has a little bit less entries. I want to get slightly more and still get a 150 maxing kind of look to it. So we're going to do that. Solver does not have the $1 million tournaments on or play action kind of stuff on their main slate sims, only for the showdown sims. So just something to keep in mind there. Yeah, sorry that wasn't the answer you're hoping for, Mike, given that you gave me money. But he looks fine. He's just like, yeah. It's usually pretty obvious when guys are due for some sort of outcome on the flip side of whatever they've been doing. And I would say he's due to be worse. Jerry Jeudy's probably due to be better. That kind of thing. All right. Pretty flat sim results here. But the top lineup right now, according to this ETR sim, we got Geno Smith, Tony Pollard, Jonathan Taylor, Chris Olave, Puka Nacua. So we're getting some of the chalk in here, but switching it up at RB. Jacoby Myers, Brock Bowers, Trey Tucker, the triple stack here with no bring back. And Patriots D makes it against Carolina. I mean, look, Bryce Young loves to turn it over for sure. The next 4 of the top 5 lineups, really the next 5 lineups, are all Matthew Stafford stacks. So ETR loving Matthew Stafford stacks. Stafford, Omarion Hampton, Jonathan Taylor again. Amon-Ra St. Brown, Puka Nacua, Devontae Adams, the classic double here that we're expecting to come in a lot because of how the projections look. Kyle Pitts at tight end, A.D. Mitchell in the flex, Adonai for his friends, and Panthers D. Really, that is a game for New England and the Panthers. You can play both defenses and not feel bad about it because really either QB can melt down at any time. Matthew Stafford, again, stacked up here at number 3. Tony Pollard, Christian McCaffrey, Chris Olave, Puka Nacua. Boy, ETR. ETR is putting you in these same fucking lineups over and over. Puka Nacua, Devontae Adams, David Njoku, Tyler Warren, double tight end. Giants D. I mean, Herbert's dropping back a lot. I'm not looking too mistake prone so far. And Giants D looks pretty bad, but maybe so bad that they're due for one decent game, I guess. Matthew Stafford at number 4 again. Stafford, Hampton again. McCaffrey again. Puka Nacua, Devontae Adams again. A.D. Mitchell again. Gadsden makes this lineup. No. Jonathan Taylor makes this lineup. Titans D makes this lineup. But at number 5, Gadsden. I know some of you guys want to play Gadsden. You're going to view that and go like, oh, like a little bit of Gadsden. Is Disley still out? I thought Disley was back. If Disley's back, I don't know. No, he must be inactive, right? Because he got pulled out of the projection set. Now I'm fucking looking up Will Disley's availability. Will Disley. Oh, he got ruled out. Okay, I missed that. I wasn't up on my Will Disley news. All right, well, wheels up for Rondé Gadsden. Anyway, your last Matthew Stafford line to the top 5. Higbee season. Higbee not the only player not coming up for the Rams in these top 5. But then again, that's the reason you play him. Stafford, James Cook, Tony Pollard, Chris Olave, Puka Nacua, Devontae Adams. Dalton Kincaid makes this one high total from Buffalo. Getting 2 players from the Bills makes sense. Jacoby Myers, Titans D. Non-Stafford lineups. Here's a Caleb one. Caleb, McCaffrey, Kyron Williams. So if you're not playing Rams pass catchers, you're playing Kyron. It seems like for ETR's data. Chris Olave, Romo Dunze, single stack with Caleb. Jacoby Myers, Zach Ertz, Ashton Genty, Titans D. So you got 2 double stack with single stack with a double bring back. That's fun. That's a fun lineup. Some Daniel Jones coming up here. Matthew Stafford. Overall, the highest ROI guys. Spencer Rattler, my boy who I put in the hand build on Friday. Rattler, your highest ROI player. Only 2% of lineups, but he is coming up here. Niners D, 48% of lineups. Barely any exposure, though, but when they hit, they're winning a decent amount of money, it seems. Harold Fannin, 47% ROI. Field is actually the exposure's at 1%. So Fannin not played very often. But when he is played, he is valuable. Jerry Jeudy also not played very often, only 1% with a 46% ROI. So, hey, ETR saying Jerry Jeudy. We all heard Uticow. We put it more Jerry Jeudy. We took the wrong fucking lesson away from that Uticow stream. David Montgomery, 44% ROI. He's barely played, though, with 0% exposure, technically. The guy with the highest exposure and ROI is Matthew Stafford. He still has a 40% ROI despite 28% exposure. So, boy, ETR is going to lead people to that Matthew Stafford. I'm not going to say slaughter, but they're going to give you fucking a lot of Matthew Stafford. That's what you're getting from ETR. Let's see what Stochastic thinks here. Next stage of our journey. Of course, if you want to check out that data, that tools, check out the solver for yourself. Link in the description, promo code SPLASH over at the solver. Of course, ETR does a good job as well. I try to be really fair in terms of how I approach things. I do work with Stochastic. ETR is another site as well that's technically a competitor, but to me, when you want to get good at the stuff, use the best tools, use the best data. SaberSim, another one that I don't do any stuff with. Run the Sims, doing a great job as well from what I hear, even though the projections I think people have been pretty critical of, but still run by smart guys. Good products to use out there. Try them out. Try a bunch of them. Try multiple at a time. I don't know. If you could afford it, I would do that, but don't feel like you have to. And of course, Stochastic too, 15% off everything that I promote is promo code SPLASH. Please do use that promo code. It supports the show. There's a link in the description. If you buy the cheap products, the cheap weekly packages, the expensive monthly packages for season-long stuff, it's all 15% off. So I use that promo code. Half the money you pay to Stochastic comes back to me. A big way I support the show. So please do show some love if you can, if you want to get any Stochastic or Solver products, but in particular, Stochastic, because trying to make that nut here because it's not been as good for football season as it usually is. I don't know if it's me. I don't know if it's losing some SEO in my promo code, but you know, trying. And thank you for Robert for the 30 the super chat. My friend, appreciate you as always. Use Stochastic money for chasing tail, then at least be a member, consume audio content, and let this spot be great free thinking takes. Yes. You didn't say great. I put in great. Yes, I appreciate that. I am a free thinker for sure. Shout out to Rondé. Look, the ETR says you can play him, Chunk, so go nuts. Rams are weakest versus the slot. Okay, let's confirm. When you say something like that, you know I have to look it up. All right, Rams, they're weakest versus the slot. They haven't given up a lot of slot targets. What if I were to tell you that Josh Downs has 11 slot targets, so Michael Pittman's 13, and Josh Downs is just as likely to benefit from Alec Pierce being gone as A.D. Mitchell is? Tyler Warren also getting 5 slot targets a game. It's important to not view, even if you have a positional lean on like, oh, this match is something you want to attack. Don't just view it from the prism of the guy you want to hitting. View it through the prism of anybody who gets this opportunity can hit, whether it's, you know, whatever, especially, you know, with EPA stuff. It's part of me trading my own brain. It's part of why I'm saying it to Mike here. But yeah, they've been targeting the slot a lot. That means that anybody who gets slot routes here could benefit. And you also might see Pittman outside more because of not having Pierce. So you got to think about the entire picture of who benefits if you have something like that. You know, and that is noteworthy. 70% slot target rate is very high. Or 60% rather. Sorry, not 70. Matthew Stafford, your number one ROI. Fucking shit, man. So everybody's played Matthew Stafford this week, it seems like. Stochastic number one. ETR and Stochastic have not been agreeing a lot on top lineups on data to start the season. This week, we are more in concert. Stafford, Kyron Williams, Cam Scadaboo, who I think Stochastic does like a little bit more. Chris Olave, Devontae Adams, Deebo Samuel, Kyle Pitts, Puka Nacua, Lions D. Number 2 is Trevor Lawrence, James Cook, Omarion Hampton, Puka Nacua, Brian Thomas, Drake London, Brent. So really the buy low tier here with Brian Thomas, Drake London, Brenton Strange, DeAndre Swift, Lions D. I mean, look, I don't dislike any of the players here. Like, I like Drake London still. Brian Thomas, I've been low on in best ball and in DFS to start the year, but he's probably due for a better day just from the amount of work he's getting. Swift, same thing. Drake London, same thing. Though I would be worried a little bit about the fact that Mooney's getting targeted way more than I would have thought. He hasn't been paying off, but I kind of thought it was going to be London being dominant number 1, Mooney kind of number 2. And it's been more like 1A, 1B in terms of usage, which shouldn't hold, but it's holding so far. Mariota, number 3 lineup here. Mariota, Gibbs, a double stack for Washington. James Cook, Puka Nacua, Deebo Samuel, Jacoby Myers, Zach Ertz, Brenton Strange, Lions. I don't know why they keep cramming in Brenton Strange, but I like the rest of the lineup a lot. I'd probably swap down off Gibbs up on Brenton Strange and play this lineup straight up. So I like that one. That's a fun lineup. Number 4, it's one that I was thinking of. So if that makes you want to fade it, then please feel free. Geno Smith at number 4. So you're getting different QBs at least as opposed to ETR. Geno Smith, James Cook, Cam Scadaboo, Puka Nacua, Jacoby Myers, Cedric Tillman, Brock Bowers, Kyron Williams, Giants D. And number 5, Michael Penix, Christian McCaffrey, Cam Scadaboo, Puka Nacua, Drake London, Darnell Mooney, Kyle Pitts, DeAndre Swift, Lions D. So all triples or doubles coming up top here. 5 different QBs. You got Stafford, you got Lawrence, you got Mariota, you got Geno, you got Michael Penix. So a pretty even split here. And I'm curious to see what the underlying ownership is. Isn't Josh Downs Cole's primary slot? I mean, I don't know that I would say that he gets most of the slot routes, but he's the primary slot when there's 3 receivers out there. When there's 2, it's like usually you have Pierce outside, Pittman playing slot or pseudo slot. So yes and no, I guess. But like Downs is only playing 17 routes a game. Pittman's at 27. Tyler Warren's at 26. So he's not really primary in as much as he's not out there, every snap. But primary in a 3 wide receiver set, yes. All right, let's look at the player ROIs. Top ROI players right now, there's only 3 in the positives. Lions D, Flacco drops back a lot. Lions D is also been a good defense to start the year. There is still, I think, that shot that Jerry Jeudy can excel versus man defense. But Lions D here, I think there's worlds here. I played Packers D against Joe Flacco. Was playing a defense against a QB that drops back a lot and is not playing super well is usually a good move. So you can play both sides of the equation here, but I definitely like the Lions D a lot. Omarion Hampton, Sim does as well. Omarion Hampton, 2% ROI for them. Omarion Hampton, I think a solid play again, has a good red zone role. Hampton averaging, I believe, just over 3 red zone opportunities a game. 3.3 inside the red zone, 2 inside the 10-yard line. Overall, 18 touches with Najee Harris not in. That should continue to creep up. So Hampton, hard to argue against in this spot, even though I do think Cam Scatterbo in the same game at a slightly cheaper price point. I think they're very similar plays. But, better Vegas total, better game situation, theoretically favoring Hampton. Number 3 is Jacoby Myers at 1% ROI, and that is it for your positive ROI, guys. So Lions, Omarion Hampton, Jacoby Myers are Stochastic's favorite players in a 150 set. QB plus 1 stacks, nobody has a positive ROI, but the closest are Drake May and Jackson Dart. QB plus 2, Geno Smith is a 5% ROI, Daniel Jones about a 3.6%, CJ Stroud 3.4%, Caleb Williams a flat 0, everybody else slightly negative to very negative. QB plus 3 stacks. Oh my, look at Cam Ward. Negative 77%. My God, they just say don't play Cam Ward. Cam Ward. Cam Ward's going to have a 1 good game at some point. I don't think it's versus the Texans necessarily, but boy, it's going to come out of nowhere because there's going to be no data to support it. He's still dropping back 40 times a game. He's not really more inaccurate than anybody else. It isn't, fired OC, or not fired OC, but changed in play caller. I don't know. Now, I'm not saying to play Cam Ward, but he can't be this bad forever. The data's just kind of dumping on him from a small sample size. Geno Smith, we got 26% ROI in a QB plus 3. Penix at a QB plus 3, 18%. Daniel Jones, 17%. Joe Flacco, 10. Caleb Williams, 4. Justin Herbert, a 2.4% ROI in the top 150. Spencer Rattler, 1%. Matthew Stafford, 1%. And everybody else negative. I'm surprised to see Jackson Dart be negative in all of them as well. Because I would think, if he hits even decently, I would think that it's pretty easy for Neighbors and Wandale to be carrying him to some upside. Apparently not. All right, let's sort by exposure here. Yeah, Tyjae Spears save us. The thing is, I don't know that Cam Ward's going to be a check down guy, but he's opened up something. I do think Bo Hardigree, the guy that they brought in, based on his mentors being, hey, we're getting spam bots. We've grown enough here to get spam bots pushing NFL fucking bootleg stream. Just go streameast.ga, guys. That's the one to use. Yeah, I mean, Bo Hardigree should be a check down guy. It should be a West Coast kind of PPR scam offense would be my thought. So I kind of think if Cam Ward's ever going to be playable, this is the week. And to just treat Houston, Tennessee like it was Pittsburgh Jets in week 1 and it somehow hits. But I'm not going to do that for a lot of lineups, that I can't really advocate for it because the data does not support it in any way. But Tennessee's total moved up to at least above 16. It was under 16 before. So now it's 16.3. So that's so things are looking up, I guess. Missed the spam. I missed the porn spam bots, not the ones looking for free clicks on their illegal streams that probably give you malware. Lions D coming up at 56% of Stochastic's top 150 lineup. So that's a massive stand here. 5x exposure basically. Lions D defense going against the high drop back QB, especially with the total being so in favor of Detroit. You get it. Still think Buffalo is going to be similarly valid. I'm surprised to see a defense have this much of a stand by Stochastic. Omarion Hampton, 55% of lineups have him in the top 150. Fields at 22, so big stand in favor of Omarion Hampton, who is a very reasonable price at 5,900 for a lead back with a team total of about 25. Puka Nacua, 50% ownership. Fields at 39, so not a fade on Puka. In fact, slightly in favor of him, but he is still only in half of lineups here, so they're not going nuts on anybody besides Lions D, I guess. Jacoby Myers, 46% exposure. Fields at 23.8, so very obvious value play at Stochastic is saying lean into and try to get unique around. And Christian McCaffrey, 41% exposure and change. Fields at 40.9%, so technically a stand in favor of Christian McCaffrey, but not a big one, mostly holding hands. Chris Olave, 2x the exposure as well. Your highest leverage guys, the players that Stochastic wants you to get the most of. Lions D, 44%. And if you guys have stack requests, drop them in now. Any QBs you want to see stacked up, I'll look those up in a moment here. We might have time to do a hand build too. Omarion Hampton, 33% leverage. You're getting him that much more than the field. Jacoby Myers, 22% more in the field. Chris Olave, 20% more in the field. Kyron Williams, 17% more in the field. Negative leverage guys, you're getting Jonathan Taylor, 10 less in the field. Malik Neighbors, 10% less in the field, barely getting him at all. AJ Brown, 8% less in the field. Amon-Ra, 7% less in the field. Bijan and Bucky also rounded up 7% less in the field. My two boys, my killer bees. What happened to the killer bees lineup? It's not hitting right now. Hate to see it. All right, we got some requests in here. We'll look at some QBs. Or should I do hand build? Then let's do a hand build and then let's look at QBs. I'll try that first. All right, let me refresh the single lineup sim. I feel like I usually don't have time to do a hand build, so why not? I'll give you guys a little handy here. I know the boys love getting a handy from their favorite fella. Guys, before I do that, before I give you all a handy, please subscribe down below, hit the like button, leave a comment. It goes a long way for me here. If you're on Twitter, follow button, like button on there. Please show some love. Stochastic, 15% off. Promo code SPLASH. Supports the show directly, as I mentioned. Probably too many times, but I got to keep doing it because that's how the only way ads work. Solver, same thing as well. Promo code SPLASH, link down below. And join the community here. If you join the channel, it's really not a lot of money that goes to me, but allows you to get access to the Discord, allows you to get my data sheet, allows you to get a premium video from me every week. So it does mean a lot to support the show. And when you support the channel, I take more shit from you. That's, if you want to see me take shit, watch me beg for jobs. But just join the channel and you'll see me taking shit. More spam. Too much spam. I built a Rattler lineup on Friday. I can't do it again now. Don't want to do Josh Allen. I'm going to go Dart's way. I'm going to give Jackson Dart a shot. I don't think it's going to help us in the sim, unfortunately, but maybe if we give the sim some stuff we know it likes, it'll help. So let's add in Hampton. Go Jackson Dart. We'll go Hampton as a correlation play here. You go Scatterboo too. Play them both. Oh, and if you want to see Rattler stacks, I will show you guys Rattler stacks. Keep putting in your QB names if you have them. Just try to only do one, though, so I can get through everybody's. All right, so we got a Dart Scatterboo start here. Let's add Neighbors on top. I think playing Wandale is also viable. Wandale's role is, I don't think people have caught up. Wandale's role is now completely different than it was in the past. He's no longer low ADOT spam boy. He is now getting ridiculous deep shots over and over again. He's getting 2 deep targets a game. For comparison, Neighbors is getting 3.7. He's getting 12.7 air yards per target. It's incredibly high. I also love Spam Masubi. We love Kimchi. We love Spam Masubi here. I think that to me, Dart with Neighbors and Wandale is kind of a bet that Dart hits the biggest upside he can. And really both guys too, despite getting crazy target workloads, they've not been super efficient in terms of EPA. So there's room for them to get better if Dart actually does create more value than Russell Wilson did. So I'm not putting Wandale in this lineup. This is my point. But I do think putting Wandale in a lineup with Neighbors is something I'll do some of today for sure. All right, so we got Giants, we got Chargers. Let's go. I'm going to go Brock Bowers here. Not really giving the sim what it wants at this point, but I do think that's a decent way to play it for me. Just think Brock Bowers in the spot where people are going to chase Trey Tucker, and that's fine. He's running a ton of routes. They're going to play Jacoby Myers because ETR and Stochastic is saying play a shitload of Jacoby Myers. Just go to Brock Bowers and hope that he captures the upside. It's sort of the way I want to play some amount of lineups. So again, the projection greatly supports going Jacoby Myers' way. And you're just to run a season-long projection, and probably would support Trey Tucker pretty well as well. But I'll go Bowers this one to try to make myself unique. We'll play Lions D as well to make sure that we're giving Stochastic again something it wants, though. I don't mind playing Buffalo D because I do think they score some. I think they have a good shot at scoring a defensive touchdown or a special teams touchdown this week. Let's do that. You know what? Here, let's build in some of my bullshit takes. It's gonna be a negative ROI lineup. I said Judy. Uticala told me to play Jerry Judy indirectly. Bills D here. That's fine. We'll play James Cook. These spam bots. You haven't bothered me all season. I don't think we're getting that many more views today than usual. God damn it, spam bots. All right, we got. I didn't put in Brandon Cooks on purpose. What? That was not. What happened there? James Cook is what I was looking for. Yes, James Cook. You're on the same wavelength as me. Not Brandon Cooks with Bills. All right, we got that. And then you know what? We can't play Olave now. We could still do the Raiders double. Jacoby Myers at 5,400. Or I could play a Quentin Johnston really game stack the Chargers game. Let's see how that goes. We'll fade Jacoby Myers, go with Brock Bowers instead. Projection is 134.4. I'm not sure if we get a positive number on this, but whether we do or don't, this is my sim lineup attempt here. The lineup I just built: Jackson Dart, Omarion Hampton, Cam Scatterbo, Malik Neighbors, Jerry Judy. Fuck off that negative ROI. Quentin Johnston, Brock Bowers, James Cook, Bills D. Let's just swap in Myers. Let's see if that's enough to get it to the positive, because I think it might be. I agree. I thought that was a fun-ass lineup. You know you made it when the bots arrive. It's true. I used to get the bots, and the bots went away. They found me less influential. Now we're back for the bots. They're here for sexy cars references. It's true. Sally is a sexy car. Now, she's kind of like a little too momish. I'm not very into Sally. 14.3% ROI for this one. So positive ROI lineup. Final one here: Jackson Dart, Omarion Hampton, Cam Scatterbo, Malik Neighbors, Jerry Judy. We got a Raiders double with Jacoby Myers and Brock Bowers. Still got James Cook, Bills D in here, and Bills D is a team I will definitely be playing some of this week. All right, back to the Stochastic Sim, your QB stacks. I'm going to burn through them here. Who was the first one in? Stroud, Emmanuel, asking Stroud, playing all the hits here. So I get to really feel like a DJ. Stroud at QB. Your top Stroud lineups. There's a bunch in the top 150. I mean, well, a good amount enough here. Stroud, Omarion Hampton, Kyron Williams, Puka Nacua, Jacoby Myers, Christian Kirk, Dalton Schultz, Christian McCaffrey, Falcons D. I feel like I'd be more inclined to go Kirk and Nico. Stroud, Bijan, Jahmyr Gibbs, Nico Collins, Drake London, Chris Olave, Juwan Johnson, Dalton Schultz, Patriots. So Dalton Schultz making it into these top Texans doubles with both receivers up top. Stroud, Jahmyr Gibbs, James Cook, Debo, Drake London, Chris Olave, Dalton Schultz, Kyron Williams, and Lions. So Dalton Schultz in all top three for Stroud, but not Nico and Kirk. Eagles, let's go Jalen Hurts. Only two in the top 150, so Stochastic users probably won't get it a lot naturally. Jalen Hurts, Christian McCaffrey, single stack here. Kyron Williams, A.J. Brown is the single. Chris Olave, Trey Tucker makes this one. Brenton Strange again. Stochastic loving Brenton Strange this week. They fucking hit on these tight ends that seem like they should not matter as much, a little bit too often. So make a footnote for Brenton Strange. Ashton Jency, Texans D. Number 2 is Jalen Hurts in a double with Christian McCaffrey, Omarion Hampton, A.J. Brown, Drake London, Devontae Smith, Dalton Schultz, Jacoby Myers, and Falcons. Those are teams. Those are teams. Sim seem off this morning. I mean, it's different data points. Jackson Dart. The Dart man. I mean, you've already seen one positive lineup, positive ROI line because I built it. But here's another one here. Stochastic's top ROI for Jackson Dart is a double. Dart with Scatterbo. All right, there we go. So they're doing the RB stack. Bijan Robinson, Drake London, Falcons double in it. Chris Olave, Wandale Robinson, no neighbors. Hunter Henry, Christian McCaffrey, Lions D. It's interesting because like Neighbors and Robinson's roles were a little bit closer than you would like if you're a Neighbors believer, but it doesn't feel like that should hold. Jackson Dart at number 2, again, James Cook, Cam Scatterbo, Puka Nacua, Malik Neighbors makes this one. Michael Pittman, Travis Kelce, Jacoby Myers, and Falcons. And your third lineup is naked, which I still never really want to play. Dart, Bijan, James Cook, Drake London, Jacoby Myers, Chris Olave, Tyler Warren, Omarion Hampton, Lions D. That looks more like a cash game lineup than anything, but sure. I'm sure it wins some amount of the time. Brock Purdy. Yes, I did say that weird on purpose. Only one in the top 150. Purdy, Hampton, James Cook, Drake London, Ricky Pearsall, Chris Olave, Kyle Pitts, Christian McCaffrey, Titans D. Number 2 is Purdy, McCaffrey, Cook, Pearsall, Olave, Trey Tucker, Hunter Henry, Brock Bowers, Chargers. So no Jennings coming up. I think Jennings hurts Pearsall just enough, but probably doesn't play enough to have enough upside for himself. But that's my feeling for the Niners. Purdy, Cook, Swift, Puka, Pearsall, Keenan Allen, Henry, Jennings, Lions. That's kind of fun to fade McCaffrey like that. That's a nice team. Hunter Henry feels a little chasey, but it's a nice team. Caleb Williams, Jake requests. Caleb, sure. A bunch of these in the top 150. Got Caleb to a double stack with a bring back. Caleb, McCaffrey, Kyron Williams, Romo Dunze, Devontae Adams, DJ Moore, Kyle Pitts, Trey Tucker, and Lions. Trey Tucker's making more of these lineups than I would have thought, based on stochastics favoring the longer-term sample size. Number 2 is Caleb Williams with McCaffrey again, Omarion Hampton, Romo Dunze, Drake London, Chris Olave, Cole Kmet, there we go, Ashton Genty, and Lions D. So some inner lineup correlation there. Your bring back of Genty. Another double stack at number 3, Caleb, Cook, Hampton, Puka Nacua, Drake London, Ricky Pearsall, Cole Kmet again. So Cole Kmet getting boosted a little bit here. DeAndre Swift, Lions D. I like Bear stacks. A little bit too much coming up in the 150, but doesn't matter. Rattler for Jalen here. We got Spencer Rattler, Jahmyr Gibbs, Omarion Hampton, Puka Nacua, Jacoby Myers, Chris Olave, Juwan Johnson. So it's a double stack. Ashton Genty, Jaguars D. Oh, fade McCaffrey. Okay. Fade McCaffrey hard, where you're not playing him, and then you're also playing the opposing D. Number 2 is Rattler, Gibbs, Hampton, Puka Nacua, Chris Olave, Trey Tucker, Juwan Johnson, Kyron Williams, Lions. Surprised we're not getting a bring back here, because it feels like if the Saints throw themselves into this game, James Cook had a decent day, one of the receivers. Receivers are hard to play because of the projection, but surprised we're not getting any Bills. Another QB +2 at number 3, Rattler, McCaffrey, Kyron, Drake London, Jacoby Myers, Chris Olave, Juwan Johnson, Ashton Genty, and Chargers. The only time it plays a bring back is with a triple stack of Olave, Shaheed, and Juwan, the bring back of James Cook. So I guess this is actually a really fun lineup. Rattler, Scadaboo, Cook, Puka, Olave, Shaheed, Juwan, Taylor, Texans. You're really leaning in hard on the Saints. It's hard to expect them to have like 3 touchdowns on a day where they have 16 implied points, but that's fun. All right, Gino. And if I play that one, I'll play a little different. That was a fun lineup. In terms of game stacking, number 1 here for Gino. Gino double here. No bringbacks, any of these Gino top stacks or top ROI lineups. Gino, James Cook, Cam Scadaboo, Puka Nacua, Jacoby Myers, Cedric Tillman makes this one. Brock Bowers, Kyron Williams, Giants. Number 2 is Gino, Kyron, Hampton, Debo Samuel, Jacoby Myers, Chris Olave, Brock Bowers again, Ashton Genty, and Lions. So triple stack. Number 3 is Gino, James Cook, Omarion Hampton, Puka Nacua, Jacoby Myers, Trey Tucker, Sam Laporta, Ashton Genty, and Lions. Wow. Really stacking up the Raiders here. We saw Caleb stacks already. Lamar. Do these for a couple more minutes. Trying to get them all, but try not to drop any more in chat if you can. Lamar stacks. Not a lot in the top 150. Lamar, Kyron, Hampton, Zay. Zay on a bounce back game. I like that. Drake London, same thing. Jacoby Myers, Bretton Strange, the Sims love. Brock Bowers, Lions D. Number 2 is Lamar with McCaffrey, Cook, Zay again. Jacoby Myers, Trey Tucker, Dalton Schultz, Tyler Warren, Falcons D. And number 3 is Lamar, Cook, Scadaboo, Amon-Ra, Zay Flowers again. Trey Tucker, Kyle Pitts, Tyler Warren, and Lions D. So really only these Zay Flowers stacks coming up. Bonnie Blue is no longer getting 8. Getting deep, thank you. Let's see. Oh, you want to see Cook with the Bill? Or was this for the single lineup sim? Let's see, just out of curiosity. RB contains Cook. DST contains Bills. Just a very obvious correlation. They'll get underplayed. So the top lineup here, none in the top 150, but it's Geno with Cook, Hampton, Neighbors, Brian Thomas, Jacoby Myers, Brenton Strange. Fucking Brenton Strange, man. Ashton Jency, Bills D. Another Geno, another Daniel Jones. All right, this revealed nothing for me, but I did like that as a concept. I do like the baddies. That's true. Eagles said all the right things. We aren't going to wait till our backstory gets the wall to open it up. All right. Penix and all right, yeah. Penix we did not look up yet. QB. Penix. Not a lot in the top 150, so won't be played a lot by stochastic users. We got Penix, Christian McCaffrey, Cam Scattaboo, Puka Nacua, Drake London, Darnell Mooney, Kyle Pitts, DeAndre Swift, Lions D. Penix triple stack again. Penix, Hampton, Cook, Drake London, Pearsall, Darnell Mooney, Kyle Pitts, Christian McCaffrey, Texans. That's pretty fun, man. That's like all legit guys, and you just have to hit on the triple. Granted, Atlanta was so bad last week, but that means people won't play it. Number 3 is Penix, McCaffrey, Cook, Puka, Drake London, Jacoby Myers, Hunter Henry, Kyle Pitts, Raiders. So Penix, you got to at least double up. Jency, good way to pivot. I mean, Stochastic's giving you a lot of Jency. Gainwell TD, that's going to happen when Jalen Warren's out. Jalen Warren had a really good role. I was surprised he didn't play, but I hope he didn't hurt his knee that bad. Stafford or Danny Dimes. I feel like we've seen enough Stafford at this point. We'll look up Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones, Cam Scattaboo, James Cook, Puka Nacua, Josh Downs, A.D. Mitchell, Tyler Warren, Christian McCaffrey, Lions. So a triple stack and a bring back. Number 2 is a double and a bring back. Daniel Jones, Scattaboo, Hampton, Puka, Pearsall, Pittman, Tyler Warren, Ashton Jency, Lions. And I think the fact you're getting different receivers in both of these, I mean, Warren's in both, it kind of speaks to what the Colts are. Number 3, Daniel Jones, a double stack here with no bring back. McCaffrey, Hampton, Jacoby Myers, Chris Olave, Michael Pittman, Tyler Warren, Ashton Jency, Lions. And all right, 2 more here, and then we're done. We're Drake May and Mariota, and then we're done. Drake. Dart Hampton and Cash. Yeah, Dart Hampton. Definitely Dart Hampton. Drake May lineups here. We got Drake May, Omarion Hampton, Kyron, Devontae Adams, Jacoby Myers, Olave, Hunter Henry, McCaffrey, Patriots. Oh, so wow, Drake May stacked up the zone defense. Number 2, Drake May, McCaffrey, Omarion Hampton, Puka Nacua, Jerry Jeudy, Stephon Diggs, Hunter Henry, Swift and Texans. And number 3 is a single stack with Drake May, Kyron, Omarion Hampton, Puka Nacua, Debo, Pittman, Hunter Henry, Bowers, and Lions D. It's not a bad lineup. This third one, I don't mind. Pittman unstacked, maybe not for me. Honestly, the Drake May lineups look good. Again, I hope he played. And last but not least, Marcus Mariota, guys. I've hit all the ones in the chat, I think. Mariota, Gibbs, Cook, Puka, Debo, Jacoby Myers, Zach Ertz, Bretton Strange, Lions. If you're going to go with a Washington double, I think it's Debo and Ertz as well. Number 2 is Mariota, McCaffrey, Scattaboo, Debo, Chris Olave, Pittman, Zach Ertz, Derrick Henry, and Lions. Derrick Henry we haven't talked about at all. But again, if McCaffrey doesn't hit, or just if Derrick Henry beats him out, Derrick Henry is a nice late swap candidate. I know ETR has established the Million Show, talked about that too. But like, if you have a lineup that's looking pretty good, but it's kind of chalky, swap to Derrick Henry and take the shot. At number 3, Mariota lineup, Mariota, Hampton, Jahmyr Gibbs, Debo, Jacoby Myers, Chris Olave, Zach Ertz, Christian McCaffrey, and Titans. Mariota stacks, doubles look kind of fun. But I hope this added some value, guys. I will be on Stochastic in an hour and a half. It'll be a different format of shows, so hopefully it'll still be worth your time. But please do show some love, guys. Appreciate all the kind chats you guys believe in. But subscribe, hit the like button, leave a comment. It all goes a long way for me here. Just one guy showing you my gambling across the NFL, the NBA soon as well. So please support the show if you can, and support the show by joining Stochastic as well. Promo code SPLASH over at Stochastic gets you 15% off. Solver, promo code SPLASH. You want to do an optimizer plus sim, do that. And join the Discord, $5 to join here, really $4.99. Be join the channel, get access to a Discord, premium video from me every week, go through all the advanced analytics, my data sheet that I use for all my personal prep that I reference here on every piece of content I do. So it is a good value add. Join the channel, it supports the show, and gives you access to more stuff that you really would not see data-wise otherwise in such a clean way as I try to do it in my Excel. Gamble responsibly, guys, even though it is always money time here. Follow me at Chris Spags. Follow the channel at SplashPlayPod on Twitter and on YouTube. I'll see you guys at 11:30 on Live Before Lock. So, hey, enjoy your days. Good luck if I don't see you again. And enjoy your week 4. And I'll see you soon, guys. Bye-bye.